Hi, this is Jahara and welcome to another episode of In the Line of Wire. I have with me today a strange set of gentlemen who have a company called Tuesday. And the first time that Umair from Tuesday gave me the card, I said, what's the name of the company? It says Tuesday 03 March. Well, obviously the name of the company is Tuesday and 03 March is the date of incorporation of the company. So, hi, Umair and Zaka. How are you? Welcome to In the Line of Wire.
Good to be here.
Now tell us why Tuesday? Who's going to explain this? Who was responsible for this?
Well, it was really just something that happened. It was like there was this group of people, like-minded people, that discovered a common interest in digital marketing and what's going on in the digital space around the world.
Right.
And just coincidentally, it was like every Tuesday we would get together in the office and just have our little sessions discussing what's going on in the world, what's happening in the digital spaces. And eventually, when we decided that, let's just go and create a company and do this that we're talking about all the time.
Tuesday seemed a good enough name.
Tuesday seemed the perfect name.
And it would be a reason for a conversation beginning with a customer, right?
And the interesting thing about Tuesday is that there's no association with Tuesday.
Okay.
Like Mondays are the day you go back to work, Monday morning blues, and Friday night is the day you get off work, and like
yay, party time.
Exactly,
yeah.
and Wednesday is midweek, but Tuesday.
Boring.
That actually works. Not boring. It's just no association with it.
Okay.
So we're like, why not create that?
Okay. And have you had strange responses to your visiting card?
Of course, absolutely. We look for those.
And especially since you work with the corporate sector even more so. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But one thing that nobody forgets that card.
I wouldn't think so. And the second great thing is that on the other side of the card is caricatures of all of you. That's good. I wouldn't associate this with Irfan and certainly neither of the other caricatures with any of you, but they're fun. Now,
Basically, they're manga as an anime, so it's what you're supposed to look like in the manga world.
okay,
How we
all right, yes, okay, great.
And like you said, caricatures, they never exactly what the person is actually.
Of course, yeah. No, it's fun. And I was looking through your website last night, and the website's fun too. Mm-hmm. Now tell me a little bit, first of all, a little bit of a background about yourselves, and then we'll get into what Tuesday actually does. Okay.
Basically, I'm an MBA from IBA, BBMBA. Started my work with Bullseye
Okay.
on the brand activation side.
Right.
Used to do events and so on and so forth. Joined Blitz, which is DDB.
SN and
Idris and
yeah,
Malaysia,
right.
those people. Worked with them for about 2 years. From there, I shifted to Manhattan, where I was handling the PNG account.
Did you skip any agencies or did you join all of them one after another? Oops, sorry. Just a joke. Don't take it serious. Don't look hurt. Okay. Yeah, so after Blitz, sorry. Just trying to make this fun rather than a formal interview, right? Okay.
Manhattan, and then of course there was this company called Media ID,
Okay.
C2N Media ID, which I worked at for 4 years.
And what did they do? They
And
were also in
again,
the same
traditional
division?
and of course events, activation, sports. So I've had a very strong, about 6-7 years of activation and traditional background.
So tell me, when you joined IBA, did you think this is what you were going to do?
Well, I've always been interested on the communication side more. I've been a writer for Dawn for 10 years.
Okay.
Even Rabia once worked with her for a while as well on Net Express,
Okay.
a long time ago. So I've always been interested on the communication side, and the more I've practiced it, the more I've realized I'm actually good at it. I would like to believe I'm good at it.
Let others decide whether you're good at it, okay? Zaka, you're also from IBA, right?
I am from IBA.
And that is strange because your designation is content head and scriptwriter, creative side. You wouldn't expect creative people to come out of the IBA. Nothing against IBA, but it's business managers and people like that who come out of the IBA.
If I go a little bit more into my educational history, I think that would become clear.
Okay, all right. Tell us.
Because I'll try to do it quickly. So
All right. In brief.
Basically, I started off wanting to be a doctor. Okay. Like at age 4, I wanted to be a doctor. I wrote an article. It was published in Law and everything. I will be a doctor when I grow up.
All right.
That kind of thing.
I wanted to be an astronaut when I grew up. But anyway, okay.
So, but basically what happened, I took O levels. I took biology, but then I had a latent interest in computers that came up at that time. So I took up maths, add maths. Then I took pre-engineering, left O levels, went into intermediate, did pre-engineering, and from there I got into IBA and EMBA MIS because I decided engineering wasn't my thing and I wanted to do computer science. So did BCS from IBA, and then tried to figure that was too technical as well, and got more interested in the marketing and advertising courses. So did a hybrid of that, which was MIS. So I did an MBA MIS from IBA. In the meantime, I did 2 internships, one in Citibank and one in Intel, which was in sales. So after that variety of experience, that wasn't enough. I also worked in journalism for a little while. I was in Dawn for a little while, worked in a magazine, and also worked in the client service department of advertising for a while.
Okay.
But
you're beginning to sound more and more like me.
Confused. Okay, that's good. I call it exploring.
Okay.
So if you have the opportunity to explore your interests, you should always do that, I think.
Okay.
So not everybody has that opportunity, but I did and I took it. And
so you're one of those people that we've been trying to create, which is business plus creative plus technical, all in one. Okay, now tell me about Tuesday. I see from your website that there are lots of interesting things that you do. Tell us a little about the things that you do that others do not. And is there a market for it?
There's definitely a market for it, but we need to educate that market. We need to...
Sounds familiar. Okay.
We need to give them proofs. We need to show them that this is actually working.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's right now the big problem.
Yeah.
What Tuesday does is, what we say, it creates engagement. Okay. It's another form of activation.
Right.
What most people perceive digital marketing to be right now is, okay, let's create a website, maybe have a few bloggers, and maybe 1 or 2 offline meetings at max, which end up going on some site or the other. Jabki, when you talk about digital, it gives you, there's so much opportunity. You're talking about the offline world, which is through BTL and all that. You're talking about the online world through social mashups and 10,000 other applications that are there. And then you're also talking about gadgets, stuff like the iPhone, stuff like mobile phones. Nokia itself can be a huge activation platform if you really start going towards it. Then there's gaming, there's consoles, and of course the cover will soon come to it, ARGs. So alternate reality games. This is such a big.
Yeah, I noticed that. What is alternate reality games? Explain it, because I saw it and I said, okay, this is not something that I've seen, in Pakistan at least. So tell us a little about what
you have seen it in Pakistan, but not in the digital realm.
Okay.
You've seen it in scavenger hunts and birthday parties. Right? But
how do you do it digitally?
How do you do it digitally? It becomes so much more interesting.
Okay.
Because when you're receiving clues on your phone, when you're receiving clues in your email, when you're having to chat online with other people to solve clues, so it becomes a very immersive experience. And
do people actually do it? Have you tried it out with customers?
I have actually been part of an ARG that was run internationally about 6 months ago. In fact, it was called The Last Train.
Okay.
And I got into that a little bit. But ARGs are very much something that is happening around the world on a very regular basis now. It's no longer a...
No, I know it's happening worldwide, but what about locally?
Locally is still
early days.
Yeah. And the level of interaction that we can expect from the normal consumer here is a little bit different. We can't really expect them to go out at 12 o'clock at night to meet someone, collectively from somewhere, for instance. Or, but yes, collaboration online you can expect, especially from university students.
Right.
And so you have to alter the level of interaction accordingly. As a storyteller, as the puppet master, that's a proper term for the ARG. So that's what your role is. But the scope of the ARG is unlimited. It is limited by imagination, as the saying goes. Right. So, for instance, this last string that I was mentioning, it was run in more than 40 countries.
Okay.
And it was run actually as a promotion for the Olympics. It started 6 months before that. And it went on and it started with a mail package arriving at people's homes. Just out of the blue.
Right.
And with a piece of string, a picture, and a poster of a 1930s Olympics.
Okay.
And from there, they picked up clues and they went to the websites and they found this person on YouTube who had a video uploaded and she's lost her memory and who has no idea who she is, and all she knows about herself is a tattoo on her hand. And then people discovered, they searched online and they found on High Five somebody had uploaded a picture of a similar tattoo, and that person also didn't have any idea who he was. But the thing was, this person was German, the first girl was American. So now the players got involved and got them talking to each other through translators.
Okay.
And from there this story went on. They discovered another person in Japan, another person in Argentina. And these were all Olympic level fitness people.
And there's, of course, customers and their ads appear from time to time in places. Otherwise, how does it become commercially viable?
It becomes commercially viable. It is an experience. This was all sponsored by McDonald's.
Okay. Then.
But McDonald's was nowhere to be seen.
Okay.
All that McDonald's did was on Gloucester's website that was created by users, actually.
Okay.
They had a little, black and white McDonald's written up in the corner. That was it.
Great.
No other mention of McDonald's throughout. But over a 6-month period, people interacting with you at that level.
Okay, so, but that's something that you haven't, not to that level, but to any small extent, have you tried it with a customer? Or even tried to talk somebody into doing it?
Oh, we talked about everybody.
But it hasn't happened yet. Still needs a lot of work.
It is happening. It is happening.
Still need to be educated, like Zaka said. One thing, of course, there are different areas which have to be looked at. For example, is it even possible to do it in Pakistan? Like, at what
No,
level
it has to
should
be
we do it?
customized for
Customized for Pakistan. At what level are we going to do it? Will people get involved? Marketers, plus it's an untried format in our country so far. So marketers, like I said, are a little bit risk averse in our country. They said let's go with print or traditional. Rather than
So what have they allowed you to do? I mean, what have you experimented
What
with
we are
creating?
experimenting with currently, it's not yet something that you will see. But the level that we've taken it to is basically just storytelling.
Okay.
And we're revealing a story in bits and pieces through websites and interaction.
So much like a teaser campaign, except
Except that, or perhaps a story-based, and a episode-based story, perhaps.
Okay.
But not in any one given medium.
Okay.
It's unfolding.
Okay,
across
that's
multiple
interesting then. Okay. Right.
it's integrating across multiple media.
So that's
Online and
so that's our first step of innovation in this market.
Okay. Terrific.
But the aim is to eventually get there. Like
No, it has to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay, now there are other things that you do. Tell us about it. I mean, other than the storytelling part,
Digital chaos thing. Basically,
what
we
is
have
digital chaos? You are the one responsible for all the chaos in the digital world.
digital and the online gaming banners and everything like that. Basically, there's this one thing called the out of home, digital signage.
Okay.
Digital out of home, basically. What we do is we replace static media, which is something like this, and we actually replace it with a full screen animated multimedia experience. We call it multimedia experience because people can actually interact with this. I can actually, for example, move things around with my hands. I can, if I go near it, something will happen, an event will occur.
Okay.
Or maybe call out through sight, through smell. So we actually create a whole experiential.
Where have you done this? I haven't seen it.
It's
Working on it.
We're still working on it.
So I hope you will, yeah.
We'll
So I
actually-
hope you'll
this
invite
is-
us when it's
This is
sort of
something-
actually happening.
This actually is going to go, inshallah, you will be seeing it in the next couple of weeks. One of the clients has approved something close to it.
Okay,
Not exactly.
terrific. I'm really excited about it now. Okay, now there are other things like video walls and various things that I saw.
The thing is that digital does not necessarily have to mean internet.
Right. No, I didn't think that they all have to be in it.
But even if you can interact with it through your cell phone,
Yeah,
that's digital.
definitely. I mean, cell phone usage is much more than internet usage in this
Or
country.
if you can interact through a touch screen, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's something that, particularly in our market, is very appreciated. It's like, okay, wow, I might take.
So are you doing things with touchscreen kiosk systems?
That
and
is actually, in fact, one of the first pitches that we gave, what started off as a single, let's give it a try thing, has gone national.
Okay.
The brand has actually asked us to make a national campaign out of it because the sales force got excited. The customer, like you said, I am a high tech, I can touch a button.
Right.
So that was like so awesome over there. And that kind of response to the brand.
It's still early days for us as well, so we've tried to keep the level of complexity to a minimum. But yes, we are.
Okay, so how long has Tuesday been in existence?
3rd March
This year.
This year?
That was a Tuesday.
Oh, I didn't realize it was so, I mean, it's only been a few months then.
Yes.
Okay. So then one can hope to see some of these things happening fast. Now you also mentioned holograms.
Holograms, you know, are...
Can we expect to see Steve Jobs sort of, you know, appear at our
Technology, but
conferences?
it's
present. But right now it's not interactive holograms yet.
Right.
That is something that actually is possible. It is possible right now with existing technologies in Pakistan.
Right.
But it's very expensive.
Very exciting.
So people are not even going to go for it right now. But at least to the extent of having a hologram avatar standing there talking to you, that's very possible. And that has been done. In fact,
It's been done elsewhere, but not here. Has it been done here?
it has been done.
Where?
It was done last time we started.
Okay. What did they do? Who
They
appeared?
had
Nadia, she was Nadia Sen over there.
Oh,
she was the brand ambassador. They had a hologram first time talking inside the malls.
amazing. Oh,
The next level
how
is to
did I
make
miss
it
that? Okay.
The next level is supposed to make it interactive. You come close and she has a specific word just for you. That is something.
That is something that's very possible, and it's particularly, you know, we've actually suggested this to one of the guys that you can have something like a billboard
Right.
that's interactive. That, you know, just by the SIM in your pocket, as you approach it, your name can come up on that. You know, good morning, Mr. Omer.
Okay.
So that's also
That can happen right now, but
Nobody is
who's
taking you up on
willing
it.
to-
I would have thought one of the telecom companies or one of the, you know,
Yeah.
FMCGs would have gone for it because, you know, that's more likely than one of the banks
is
or
definitely,
serious.
Yeah, but the thing is that a little bit more education is still required. A little proof of concept, I suppose, is still required. So
Right,
once
right.
people have that, they're more comfortable with spending money on it. But once we have a few projects under our wing, you know, the ones that are going on, I feel very confident about that. Once we have those, then we'll be in a much stronger position to convince people. to try
Okay, now
and
where do you
take the
think,
risks.
you know, as you yourself said, we've got debatable numbers as far as internet usage is concerned, maybe about 17, 18 million users. And then mobile users, we've got close to about 90 million. Where do you think the digital space is going as far as Pakistan is concerned? What do you expect to happen in the next year or so?
First things first, the fragmentation of the consumer in Pakistan has gone down has gone up so much. You have 83 channels, plus movie channels, plus then you have the radio and all these other media, plus you have now iPhones and
you have in the line of wire
and you have in
online?
the line of wire. So we're talking about fragmented media on a huge scale. We call it the million universe channels, basically,
Right.
which is how the consumer is going. Now, companies increasingly are looking for solutions over there.
Right.
So when we look at Datal actually gives you customized marketing. This is how we look at Datal as well.
Okay.
Customized engagement, like Zaka says, have your name up there and so on and so forth. And increasingly worldwide, we've seen the shift from, say, 100% towards traditional, towards most of the companies, even the big companies like GE and Microsoft, shifting 100% of the budgets, advertising budgets, into the Datal space. So Pakistan maybe, we're looking at Unilever, they've shifted about 10% of the budgets into Datal. This year we're looking at P&G, they're experimenting with Datal in a big way. Telecom itself has gone up from meager $300,000 to about $3 million this year in
Okay.
Datal.
So it is happening.
So
What about the local companies?
It must happen. It will eventually happen. Like the local companies will need to follow on the whole advertising scene. I think they will be slower to follow in the digital realm as well. But it must happen because it is more cost effective and it is more it has more lasting impact on the consumer.
Right.
So there's really no reason
And
to stay
as users are able to actually interact, then the retention is greater as well.
And there's something that's, in marketing terms, hardcore marketing terms, you have a consumer life cycle, where you start off entering the consumer's consideration set and trial, and regular and then loyal, and then advocate. That's the highest a brand can go in the non-digital space.
Right.
In the digital space, there is a step beyond that. There is a passionista step.
Oh, and what's that?
A passionista is somebody who, like in the offline world, an advocate, what's the most he can do for you? He can watch your ad on TV and tell other people, oh, I saw this great ad.
Viral marketing.
And so what on the digital realm, you can actually send it to other people and tell them to share the experience. You can share that experience.
That's already happening through social media.
So that's exactly the thing, that in digital you're going one step beyond what traditional media is allowing you.
But traditional media is also trying to use,
of course,
digital media now, because they know that it's a question of survival.
We always say we create legs for traditional media. We never actually harp on the fact that they can do this. Because again, broadcast is a very, very effective tool, even now, even in the age of fragmentation.
No, even print has a space. It's not going to replace anything.
But they complement each other very well. Okay. So, and again, any campaign at all can maybe even get sometimes in twice the results if you just have a data leg attached.
What we're talking about is the shift of focus.
Okay.
Like, let's not keep the focus and let's not keep the main payoff of the idea on TV or print. Let's keep the main focus online and use these as the promotion tools.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
But you've got to make sure that the customer thinks it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Because you see, people
Apparently
are
they
used
do,
to.
because we're getting the customers. That's not a problem.
That's good to know, because it's very difficult to change mindsets. So I'm glad you guys are doing it.
And I will add one more thing over here. One reason why mindsets are changing. Anything that is in data, again, is quantitative. Anything at all. You have efficiency metrics, you have performance metrics, you have money metrics, okay fine, this is how much money you save. You have all sorts of engagement metrics, okay, this is how long the customer stayed with my, for example, game, this is how he interacted, this is how many times he even moved the mouse. So you have all these metrics coming in, all the data coming in. And then suddenly when the data translates, you actually find out these are best practices, these are not best practices. And suddenly marketing becomes more efficient, marketing becomes more cost effective. And of course you suddenly realize that I can do a lot more on even a smaller budget than I couldn't do previously. And there's none of that gut feel thing anymore. It's all data driven. And this is where the rest of the world is also going. They're going to the data thing. Google, for example, is a perfect company. They have a trial on anything, even the color of what should be the color of Google.
Right.
And you can do that with data. There are test cases, test research is even possible on any idea that you have.
Okay, one question. Have you tried to sell this to any government organizations?
Not as
Or public sector organizations? No?
Not as
I mean, utility companies, for instance, or, there are. Yeah.
We will go there, but like I said, need to get a few live projects signed first.
Okay, great.
And so that's what we're focusing on getting done right now. And we are a small team here.
Yeah, how about
5 people.
just 5 people? Okay, so you've got to do a lot. All right, well, that was a great discussion, but you have a technical person on your team, your CTO, Irfan, and I'd like to talk to him. He's a fast graduate, so more in line with what our industry is interested in. Although what you guys are doing is very much a part of the whole technology sector as well. You can't separate the two. So thanks a lot, guys, and we will take a break and then we will bring Irfan onto the set and we'll talk to him. Okay, we've got rid of Umair and we have got Irfan Khairi here, who is the CTO of Tuesday, and we couldn't get rid of Zaka, so he's still here, so I guess we'll have to put up with him. So Irfan, you're a fast graduate. Tell us a little about yourself, why you are with these crazies in this organization.
Okay, let's see if I can put it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been actually interested in the arts, and I guess I started like sketching when I was 5 years old.
So then why did you go and study
I know you
computer science?
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Not that I'm discouraging people from computer science, but if you always wanted to draw and paint and whatever else, why did you join Indus Valley, NCA,
Well, actually, I would have loved to join Indus Valley, but back then, like nobody told me about you can have an art education. And, right. Okay, so I started off with an interest in, arts, sketching and stuff. And the thing was that when I got my first computer, I looked on it as a means of creating something which is, in a way you might call live art,
Okay.
right?
When was that? How old were you then?
I think I was in my early teens.
Okay.
I
And
programmed.
I noticed you got the Sinclair.
Yes.
Okay.
I got a Sinclair. Which
Not
is
many
like,
people know what that is.
Yeah, I guess not true. In this generation, I guess.
Yeah, but you and I.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that your first computer?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do with it?
I couldn't do much with that, but a year later I got another computer, and I think when I was about 15, I programmed my own game, my first game.
Wow. Okay.
And I was the only one who used to play that, so I was just like, I beat my own high score.
So that was the Commodore 64? Or
No,
was that
actually,
the Amiga?
it was another computer which absolutely nobody knows about. It was called the New Brain. It was a
Okay, no,
British
I haven't
computer.
heard of it. Okay.
And,
I know the BBC was a computer as well.
Yes,
I
it
had
was in the
that.
same era as the BBC.
Okay. So you made your own game and you used to beat your own score.
Yes.
Way back then.
Way back then. So that's when the whole thing about actually that was creating your own interactive environment. That's what actually really got me interested.
Okay.
And using graphics, obviously the environments are more detailed and they're more lifelike. So when I got my Commodore 64, I used to draw on that, make pictures on that. And well, basically this is a normal, actually perfect sequence. I mean, where I am right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
But
merging
when
technology.
you joined FAST, when you studied computer science, most of the people who were in your class wouldn't have been looking at this area.
Absolutely.
They're
And,
looking to becoming software engineers.
but I never took it that way. For me, the technology was means to an end.
Which is the way it should be. Actually.
Yes, it wasn't like I wasn't focused on technology, and somehow I'm the CTO, but that's not my real. I got to know a lot about technology. Technology interests me, and I like to really get into it.
But you're more concerned with the end result.
Yeah, exactly.
I should point out at this point that in Tuesday we're all wearing multiple hats. We put him in charge of technology, but that's not all that he contributes.
Okay.
Yeah, when we come up, when we brainstorm, everybody contributes, everybody is a creative and a technologist as well, so we are all wearing different hats.
Do you have to convince each other to do certain things? Are there fist fights?
Absolutely, we're all critics of each other. So it's like,
Well, that's good. As long as you can live with that, it's fine.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be.
If you have people who sort of merge well together, they say, okay, we're arguing, but it's not a wild or vehement argument, or at the end
You're only arguing because you want the best out of that decision that is taken. Great. Now you also teach at Zabas. What do you teach?
I teach basically graphics and animation.
But you didn't study graphics and animation, did you?
No, but after I got out of FAST, I went immediately into graphics. A friend of mine and myself, we set up a small post-production house back in '91.
Okay, there were no post-production houses at that
No
time.
post-production houses back then.
Right.
And
What kind of stuff did you do? And what kind of
basically,
things did you do?
okay, from '91 up till today, I've been in post-production. We've been doing animation, post-work, 3D animation, and then a lot of TVCs, basically commercial.
For local
stuff.
customers.
For local customers. We've done some for customers abroad as well, done something, few stuff for people in Scotland.
Great. So have you seen a lot of interest in teaching at Zabas from the kids there towards animation?
Honestly, not really. No.
Why do you think that is? I mean, it's a whole world out there, and there's so much work to be done and so much excitement to be created in terms of games, in terms of animated series, all sorts of.
Absolutely.
So why is it that, is it because we don't talk about it as a career that people can have that they don't think. I mean, somebody like you should actually not have gone into computer science, should have had the option to go into a gaming or animation program, which at that time would not have existed. And even now, I don't think it exists. I mean, there are
over here it doesn't. I mean, abroad it does. Now you have degrees in like animation and specialization in animation, and even specialization in game programming and game development.
So, I mean, there are a few companies I know within Pakistan who are doing that, who develop game engines, who are working on games, but very few. So how can we, I mean, how will we convince, first of all, the HEC to have that as a program at universities? How are we going to encourage kids and their parents, because this is a decision parents and kids make together, that this is an area that they can get into, that can build careers?
Well, first of all, there has to be a lot more awareness than that there is. I mean, the layman has to, get hands-on with the technology, which is not happening, but which is exactly what Tuesday is all about. Getting the technology to the layman, right? Making him or her interact with the technology so that the whole thing gets more prominence. So once it does, I think people will get automatically more interested in technology and animation and interactive and multimedia. It will all be there right in front of you.
Well, I hope that I wish you guys luck, because this is an area that I'm very passionate about myself. And
related note, I would like to add this, that in advertising also we have a very similar problem. That the heart of the advertising agency, the production line of what they're selling, is the creative department, right? The copywriter.
Right.
And until I came in this field, I didn't even know that there was such a position as a copywriter.
So there is a university now, the Beacon House National University in Lahore, that has started teaching this as a program. But that's not enough. I think it needs to be in every city, and there need to be programs for for people who develop radio programs or television programs. Now we've got so many channels. We've got creatives and that we need to create for online or mobile.
This comes to related back to Tuesday, is that there is a different narrative style for every medium.
Of course.
Right? And we don't have people who can think in digital. Right? I've come to that point, we've come to that point because of the time that we spend researching this as an interest.
Right.
But
we need to convince educational institutions that this needs to be taught. This is a discipline.
So one of the things that we're trying to figure out to prove is the value of the narrative in digital content.
Right. So perhaps you can join the advocacy group that we are forming today. To promote, and Rabia has to join it. So to promote this area, I think this is really necessary, and it's going to only grow. And if we don't have people with experience and education in these disciplines, we will be left behind. Because one Tuesday is not going to do it. We need a lot of Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right? Well, thanks, guys.
I'm just saying, we hope we can kickstart the process somehow.
I hope you can. I think you already have.
Part of in that.
And do invite us to the launch of that digital project that you were talking about, and then we'll talk about it on the line of wire. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was my conversation with 3 people from a company called Tuesday. My only complaint is they don't have a woman on their team, and they should. So I hope that as they grow, they will ensure that there are talented women who join the team, and we will work with them to make sure that we promote this area, which is something that I think will bring in a lot of money to Pakistan, which will help the economy, and which will, I think there are a lot of people with a lot of talent out there in Pakistan, a lot of young people who will benefit if they see this as a career option. This is Jahara signing off from another episode of